An update from the World Darts Championship with our talkSPORT pundit Paul Nicholson. It's not a positive one, actually. I'm just going to read out a statement, first of all, from the PDC regarding Dom Taylor. So the PDC's governing body, the Darts Regulation Authority, known as the DRA, has released the following statement in regards to Dom Taylor on Friday, December the 19th. In line with its ongoing anti-doping procedures, the PDC and DRA are conducting drug testing during the 25-26 Paddy Power World Darts Championship at Alexandra Palace. On the 19th of December, the DRA was notified of an adverse analytical finding in respect of the player Dom Taylor, resulting from a test conducted on the 14th of December. As a result of this, and in line with the relevant DRA processes, Dom Taylor has been suspended from participating in any DRA-regulated events with immediate effect. This matter will now be the subject of a disciplinary process in line with the relevant DRA anti-doping rules. The DRA will be not making any further comment pending the outcome of this confidential process. As a result, Paul, that means that Johnny Clayton gets a bye straight through into the third round, and Dom Taylor is, of course, booted out of the tournament as he's now suspended. This is a guy who failed a drugs test in the build-up to this tournament last year and missed it as a result, and here he is coming to the tournament and finding himself in, I was going to say the same situation, arguably a worse situation.
Much worse. I think things are about to get very real for Dominic Taylor. We've been lauding his talent for the last few years, saying that his area of the country and the country that he represents, England, have a very good dart player. Unfortunately, now his reputation is completely shot, because not only has he failed once, but has spoken with the media at this event post-win about putting things right, and he lied. And that is one of the things that really hits home today. When you lie and you tell fibs in front of the media about things that you've done in the past and what you're doing that day, that will not sit well with the regulation authority, and I expect there to be a twofold attitude towards this, because there should be some help. He's a professional dart player with a PDPA membership, which is mandatory when you come onto the PDC tour. So the PDPA's responsibility is to give him some assistance. I really hope they give him that, because he deserves it. But at the same time, I think the Darts Regulation Authority have got to throw the book at him, because this is not a first-time offence.
What does throwing the book at him look like, in your opinion?
Well, I've had my dealings with the DRA about conduct.
Mm-hmm.
This is not necessarily about conduct. I suppose there's a little bit of it because of the lying aspect. They don't like that. They really don't. But from the indiscretion point of view, I think when you look at previous cases, not necessarily for a positive test, they do like to make an example of someone so that it's a lesson for other people to learn. We have had positive tests in the past with other players. I don't think it's right to mention them right now because they're individual cases. But this is a two-time test that's gone wrong for Dominic Taylor. And I think throwing the book at him is taking every penny he's earned at this tournament. I don't think it's fair on Oskar Lukasiak. Now, you can have the argument that this could be performance enhancing. We don't know what the substance is. But something's got to be learned from this for the next generation. This will not be tolerated. I commend the PDC and their processes of finding out this very, very quickly and releasing a statement very quickly. But if I were in the position that the board at the DRA are in, I'd say full match earnings and indeed tournament earnings, so 25,000, to make sure he doesn't get any benefit from this.
Yeah, that's an important point that Paul makes, actually. From the statement, we don't know exactly what the substance was, whether it was performance enhancing or recreational, whatever it is. It's obviously not allowed, and that's why Dom has been suspended and taken out of the tournament pending investigation. So once they've done their investigation, they will decide, of course, on the punishment. But you did mention that there has been precedent in the past, and while you don't want to mention any names, there has been some quite severe bans for similar actions, hasn't there?
Yeah, someone who I don't want to mention the names because I don't think it's right to do that, but someone has missed out on this tournament in the past because of a positive test, and subsequent tournaments as well over a 2-year period. And he's not the only person to have been through that. But from my reckoning and my reading, Dom Taylor is the only person who's been found twice. And that will not be tolerated. There's going to be a hard line with this. There should be, And we're coming at this with quite a raw mindset. We may need to get some more information to be more informed. I don't want this to come across as too raw, because that would be unfair on the case itself, which has an impending investigation. But from the information that we have, it's got to be quite the big punishment for this, because the PDC have got a very great reputation. They're trying to grow a great global sport, and this doesn't help that.
From Dom Taylor's perspective, again, we don't know exactly what he's done, but we don't know if it's a mistake or whether it's something that he thought he would get away with. However it is, he is suspended. What should he do now? How should he respond to this? Should he respond to this?
Low profile, get off socials, don't mention anything to the media, and stick with the people that are going to stick by him. I don't know who that's going to be yet. There's a lot of us here at the media centre at the PDC World Championship who are feeling a bit raw about this. I think raw is the right word. I think we should somewhat temper our initial reactions, because some of them have been quite visceral, and people want to throw the book at him, but we don't know the full story. I think what we have to have here is a proactive approach from the PDPA. They have a responsibility to look after one of their players. They've done it for others, and Dom should be no different. So they've got to step up and make sure he gets the help he needs, because if someone is testing positive twice in a 12-month period, maybe we have a problem here that he needs to address with the help of the union within the sport.
Yeah, and you talk about support, and I'm not equating the two things, but the Cameron Menzies issue happened the other day when he was punching the table, spoke about his mental health at the time, and there seemed to be a kind of debate on social media, but also with people within the game, about whether or not he should be supported or punished. And I think in both of these cases, both of those things can coexist, can't they? They should both apply.
100% they can. We know Cameron, we know his past, we know his present, and a lot of people have said very vocally on social media and in interviews that Cameron looks like he needs some help. And this is where the PDPA come in. It's their responsibility to look after their players. Just because somebody does something wrong doesn't mean they don't stand back and say, right, book thrown at you, we're not taking any part. That's not their job. Their job is to look after players who are thriving and people who aren't. And they should really have a responsibility for players who maybe haven't even got a membership right now, people who have paid in the past. But as far as Dom Taylor's concerned, I think the fair approach is the DRA take care of the disciplinary stuff, the PDPA, who Dom has contributed towards as per his membership over the course of time, their responsibility is to take care of whatever they can. So, time for them to step up.
Yeah, and just finally, important to point out that the support is available through the PDPA, and I'm sure that Dom will be signposted to whatever support is required. Again, without knowing exactly the situation, it's difficult to comment, but if we are talking about something like an addiction, the PDPA have an affiliation with the Sporting Chance charity, don't they, founded by Tony Adams. Yep. They've got a residential clinic and therapy services that players can access free of charge, funded by the PDPA levy, and also other support like a Thrive mental health app, for example. I'm sure that it'll be a difficult time for Dom, however it was brought about this. So there is support out there. It's important that the players are signposted to that support.
Yes, absolutely. That is what the PDPA, I'm sure, will do. The likes of Peter Manley and Glenn Durrant and Alan Warren Little, they are the people who can sort this out with other people at the PDPA. But I think the biggest thing now for Dom is to acknowledge what has happened, tell the truth, and try to move on day by day, because his participation in this tournament and in any World Championship from now on is, well, it's gone from this one. Johnny Clayton gets a bye through to the next round. Dom has got to tell the truth, not just to everybody, but to himself.
Yeah, and just wanted to finish actually on the darts, because Johnny Clayton, as you mentioned, does get a bye. Now, I don't want to sort of describe that as a bonus, because it's not the way he would have wanted to go through, but he'll be heading home or at home for Christmas now, and he's the first man through to the next round in a section of the draw where things look pretty open. As Johnny Clayton won from his performance in the first round, which was decent, and now the fact that he's already through to the third round, has he become more of a contender in this tournament over the last week?
Yeah, maybe. I don't think Johnny's going to be looking at this situation any differently. He'll just have one less game to play. He will still prep in time for post-Christmas. It just so happens that he's the first person into post-Christmas. So he'll have a bonus couple of days with his family back in Pontyberem, and then when he comes back, he'll be ready. It's a case of he has to prep the way he wants to prep. He couldn't have any influence on this. He just gets a phone call saying, this has happened, you're now playing after Christmas. You have to acknowledge that and you have to move on. I don't think his preparation changes much. He just gets ready for the next game on whatever date he plays.
We will, of course, bring you any further updates as we get them. And don't forget, you can catch the Darts World Championship on talkSPORT 2 across the talkSPORT app and here on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel.